I'm back. Hey there, English speakers. Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome. I apologize for the technical difficulties, and we're back, and we're going to do our English lesson. Let people know that we are here now. So I tried to use OBS software, and that didn't work for some reason. But let's get going with the class. Here we are. Let me get back. Oh. Let me let my Facebook people know we're live. Here we go. Are we live? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Here we go. Let's take a look. Let's take a look if you can see me and hear me. There. How's the quality, guys? Let me know how the quality is. I'm sorry. There we go. Tahani, welcome. Okay, there we go. Who else is watching? How's the quality? That's something I have to know, and I have to, please let me know how the quality is. Let me know if you can see me, if you can hear me, how it is, and all of that good stuff. Please. Tahani, thank you for sticking with me. Mohammed, thank you for sticking with me. We're trying to figure this out, you know, one frustrating moment at a time, aren't we? It looks to me that the quality isn't that great. I'm trying to close some programs here, and hopefully it will be better, become better, right? Hopefully we'll improve. Little by little, isn't it? Okay. Not too bad. Yeah, not too bad. It looks like it's not too great, but little by little, isn't it? It looks pretty bad. But we're going to try one thing at a time. Okay. So welcome to another live lesson. If you are new here and you didn't hear my introduction before, it is April 20th, 2018. I am your host and teacher, Jesse, helping you from Sweet Academy, helping you get to that next level in English and in life. And today's 420. Happy 420. If you know the significance of that, then happy 420. Have one in honor of me. If you don't know the significance of it, then we'll move on to the lesson. Okay, so we're going to check some writing today. If you missed a lesson, our lesson on Wednesday, we had some other technical difficulty problems. I'm trying to figure this out. It doesn't look like it's that great a quality. but we're going to try to push through anyway. Doesn't look like it's that great. Because we're going to check some students' writing, check your writing, and we're going to, well, let's take a look at the order of events today. Here's what we're going to do. Today, we're going to have the welcome, which that's what we're doing right now. Then we're going to take a look again at the difference between spoken and written English, right? And, you know, what is the difference? What is the difference between spoken and written English? Why do we have a difference? And how do you do each? And then I'm going to look at 2 students writing and do error correction on them. So it's going to be a productive class. It's going to be a beneficial class. And I hope to see you there. All right. I'm happy you joined. Okay. So if you haven't joined me yet, join me on Twitter, Facebook, subscribe here on YouTube, and click the bell. Each class will get better and better and better, but this is what you have now. We're on a journey together, aren't we? We're on a journey. You are on a journey of figuring out your English and trying to improve your English. I'm on a journey of trying to really help you figure out your English and improve your English. We're in this together, aren't we? We're in this together, trying to grow. I'm trying to help you grow. You can help me grow and try to help me grow as we kind of build together. We grow each other up. That's why on Sweet Academy, it's I have the word we highlighted. We are in this together, in your English, in my building of the academy. We're trying to help each other, aren't we? I'm going to post some class notes. If you want to join the class notes on Sweet Academy, go to sweetacademy.com/live lesson, and you'll be able to see the class notes from today. So you can check that out. Tahani, Mohammed, if you're in there, check those out. Okay. Now, let's look at some differences in writing and speaking. And if you didn't see on Wednesday, or you didn't see on my Facebook page, the assignment is to describe a film that you have recently seen. You should say what the film was, when and where you saw it, what the film was about, and explain how you felt about the film. And it should be 1 or 2 paragraphs discussing this question. This is an IELTS speaking type question, so feel free to write in spoken English style. And then a student asked me on Facebook, how do I write in spoken English style? And then I told her, and she said, can you teach me how that is? So that's what we're doing today. Spoken and English writing style. What's the difference? Again, on my blog, you can see that. I have notes and a few extra notes on there, but let's take a look at the outline. First, spoken English is more informal, right? And of course, it depends on what you're presenting. If you're giving a formal speech, make it formal. But typically, spoken English is meant to be informal, more conversational. And that means you're using contractions, you're using phrasal verbs, and you're using idioms and expressions like common expressions and colloquial expressions. These are all very, very good and essential, especially if you're taking an exam. The written English is more formal. right? Again, depending on what you're writing, right? You may be writing, maybe you're writing a letter to a friend, and you don't have to be formal. That's okay. Some exams ask you to write an informal letter. Then you can use contractions, but generally formal writing, no contractions. And limited phrasal verbs. Of course, you can use phrasal verbs, but limit them. If you have to use the word look up on Google, use the word search or research, things like that, more formal vocabulary. Also, the linkers and connectors you use are different. So for spoken English, you're using things like, you know, I mean, or together, do you know what I mean? Or you're asking questions. Written connectors are more like moreover, whereas, however, firstly, secondly, thirdly, things like that. Also, spoken English is conversational. You want to use things like question tags and interactive questions. It's two-way communication, speaking usually. And written is one-way communication. So you're not writing question tags. You're just presenting your opinion and your ideas as clearly as possible, right? In written English, it's essential and important. It's essential in written English to present your ideas clearly, right? It's essential to present your ideas clearly because the other person can't give you feedback. You can't see the other person have like a face like, like that face where you don't understand. You don't have that in writing. So it's more important to be clear. Does that make sense? Like, does that make sense is a perfect spoken English question, but not really in written English. One-way communication as opposed to two-way communication, right? Okay, so that's written English versus spoken English. Your assignment again, describe a film that you have recently seen. You should say what the film was, where and when you saw it, what the film was about, and explain how you felt when you saw this film, right? So let's take a look at some students writing, shall we? So this is what I do. I've showed you this before. This is how I correct students writing. This is what I use. I use Microsoft Word, and then I do track changes. So if you want a one-on-one lesson with me and you want me to correct your writing, this is how I do it. And we do it together. If we do it together, it's better because you learn as we go, right? So here, the film that I saw it recently, the first thing, this is common, especially among Arabic speakers, really, and Latin-based speakers. Spanish speakers make this mistake. We don't need it here because it means the film. Those are the same thing. So Tahani, this was yours. We don't need it because it is the film. So let's take that out. The film that I saw recently was Samantha, an American Girl Holiday. If you're writing this kind of thing is important, you want to capitalize the first letter of every word. I watched it with myself. The expression that we use, and I'm going to write this together. The expression we use is by myself. on Tuesday in my room. So, Tahani, I would recommend that you write by myself in your vocabulary notebook, and that way you can remember that those go together, right? So when you write in your notebook, you should always have a notebook with you to take notes and that have vocabulary. When you learn vocabulary, don't learn just one word. Learn groups of words. That will make it easier to learn phrasal verbs, collocations, expressions, things like that. So don't just learn myself. Myself is good, but by myself, right? You can say with myself in some cases, but generally by myself. Let's continue. So the film was about Samantha, and I think you're clarifying Samantha. You could just say a rich girl. And then you can use a relative clause what we have, and we say who because it's a person, or you can also use that, and you don't need she. Who became a friend for three poor girls, a friend of three poor girls as they work as servants. Okay, so let's take a look at these two sentences, right? Samantha, a rich girl. When we combine sentences together and make one sentence out of them, we're doing a few different things. Samantha was a rich girl, okay? Samantha became friends with or you said became a friend of three poor girls. These are what you're combining. These are the sentences you're combining with this, right? Because who is Samantha? We don't need Samantha two times, right? And we don't need she because we have who, right? And that's how we're combining sentences together using relative clauses and knowing that who or that replaces the second Samantha, right? Samantha, a rich girl. Well, sorry, if you have who was a rich girl, that would probably be the best for this case. That's one option. Or Samantha, a rich girl, became a friend of blah, blah, blah. Okay, these two ways, these two sentences, I'm giving you options here because, you know, language is flexible, right? You know, language is personal. How I speak is probably different than you speak, definitely. How you speak your language is different than how somebody else speaks your language. It's personal. That's how I try to teach. I try to teach so I bring out the language that you want to communicate, right? That's why I'm giving you different options. And then you can choose, everyone watching, you can choose which way you prefer to say it best. All right? Is that a good idea? I think so, right? Okay, let's continue. So you could either say, the film was about Samantha, who was a rich girl that became a friend of three poor girls. Or you could say, Samantha, a rich girl, became a friend of, right? So you could either say that or that. It's an amazing story. I like it. And I love their dresses. When I watched okay, When I watched this film that talked about the innocence of children and their friendship, they don't differentiate between. Okay. We have a lot going on in the sentence, and we have several things that we have to look at. Okay, Mohammed, you're asking me to zoom the screen? Okay, I will. Thank you. Thank you for asking me. Is the quality okay? I hope so. Oops. How's this? Does that make it better? Okay, so I'm trying to, thank you for asking me, and thank you for commenting. So how's that? Does that make it better, Mohammed? It's an amazing story. I like it, and I loved their dresses. That's one sentence. Let's stop that. That's one sentence. I loved it, I liked it, and I loved their dresses. That's all. Okay, that's one idea, and that's all. When I watched this film that talks about the innocence of children and their friendship, you say I like it again, and you said I like it a lot. You said it here and here, and I think somewhere up at the top somewhere. But anyway, don't repeat simple things like this. Let's take that I like it out, because I know you like it. You already told me here, right? So, the expression that you're looking at, when I be, right? For example, when I wake up early and exercise, I feel energy throughout the day. Okay? When I be. When I watch this film that talks about the innocence of children and their friendship, that's not a conclusion for the first part, right? I feel at peace, or I feel hopeful, or something like that, right? And then this is a separate idea. They don't differentiate between rich and poor. Okay, so we have, this should be 3 sentences because it's 3 ideas. It's an amazing story and you love their dresses. That's idea 1. When I watch this film, I feel at peace. That's idea 2. And they don't differentiate between rich and poor. That's idea 3. So try to be careful and have a sentence be a subject and a verb and an object, right? That's what we're doing. But very good. This is good. A good job, Tahani. It's a little short. Try to write a little more. I know that you're kind of new at this. So well done, Tahani. Thank you for that. Any more questions? Then let me know. Now, Mohammed, on to you. Mohammed, now you actually sent me, I did your other essay, or I did your assignment on Wednesday. So I just saw that you sent this assignment. It's perfect because this is a writing assignment, IELTS writing part 2. And you're trying to get a 7 band. I'm going to do a video where we look at different requirements for each band. That's what I'll do in a future video. But right now, let's take a look at this. The question, some people think that university students should study additional subjects in their own subject. Should study additional subjects to their own subject. To what extent do you agree or disagree? That's kind of a weird question, but okay. Some people think university students should study additional subjects to their own subject. Do you mean like additional classes, I guess you mean? Did you copy this correctly, do you think? So here's your response. The first thing I always look at with students is, what's the main idea? What are you asked to do? Notice whenever you have to what extent do you agree or disagree, that's like not just I agree or I disagree. It's I strongly agree, I don't really agree, I strongly disagree, I agree to some extent, things like that. Those are good vocabulary to use in this type of question. So you're talking about university students and studying additional classes and subjects along with their main major. Tertiary education plays a vital role in career development of an individual. Okay, a nice academic word here. However, while some people believe students should take additional subjects in parallel to their majors, I disagree with this notion for several reasons. Okay, simple introduction, basic, and I can tell that you've really practiced exam type writing, and I'll put that in quotes, right? That you've studied. I can tell that you've studied exam type writing, right? Because it's that I'm going to lay out this in this what did you write? I disagree with this notion for several reasons. That's very exam-y, which is okay, which is fine. That's perfect. You've studied, and I can tell that you've put in time to practice your writing, right? So that's good. That's a good difference between spoken and written English, right? So let's take a look at it. Additional subjects. I wouldn't use in parallel here because in parallel means like two separate things. I would use maybe along with. That means the same as like additional subjects too, right? Along with their majors, or as well as, or things like that, right? Here we have immediately, I see a connector, right? A written connector, like I said earlier. Firstly, a student who is enrolled in a university course or degree program can be said that he is about to go for a particular specialization. And I spell it with a Z. You probably spelled it okay, but I had that red line because I have the American spelling, but with the S as the British spelling. That's perfectly acceptable, right? Okay. This is actually the in-depth such as arts, engineering, or medical sentences. This is actually the in-depth learning of the branch subjects. I'm not sure what you mean by the learning of the branch subjects. I'm not sure that's actually the word that you're looking for. Firstly, a student who is enrolled in a university course or degree program can be said that he is about to go for a particular specialization, such as art. And you can use the word major too, right? Sciences. This is actually the in-depth learning of the branch subjects. And I have a video coming out where I talk about this. You're using very academic words, and that's very good, right? Advanced vocabulary, advanced grammar, but being clear is more important than being more advanced. Okay, so this is just a side note. Being clear is more important than being more advanced. So make sure you're clear before you try to use fancy language and sentences. Okay, make sure it makes sense. This is actually the in-depth learning. What is this, by the way? That's something that makes it unclear. What is this? And the in-depth learning, and what is branch subject? What do you mean by branch subjects? I've never heard of that. It may be a British term that you learned from another teacher. I'm not sure, but I don't know what you mean by that. If students go for off majors, they might not be able to devote the required attention in their field subjects. Again, I would probably say like in their major subjects or in the subjects of their majors. While I concede that additional subjects are the greatest source of knowledge, DGE, that was just probably a typo, and skills advancement, I still feel that it could be nearly impossible to focus on additional subjects. Perhaps lower grades would be the possible outcomes. Okay. Okay, you have your opinion here. The student enrolled in university course or degree program can be said that he is about to go for a particular specialization, a particular skill or major. Okay. So singular focus. This paragraph is about singular focus, isn't it? So you have that. You have the support here with examples. That's good. Very nice. That's good for your content. Paragraph 2. This brings me to my second reason, which very good. This is a written connector that we talked about. Excellent. This brings me to my second reason, or let's say brings us to my second reason, which is the employment opportunities. It could be considered that by emphasizing doesn't get on, but if you putting an emphasis on, then you would have on. So it's up to you. Other subjects rather than branch subjects. Why don't we just call them subjects that are not in your major, right? Or extra subjects. Often lowers the quality of a specialized graduate. Maybe specific graduate? Moreover, when such graduates are attending a job interview or job interviews, whichever one you prefer, either job interviews or a job interview, they may likely miss that opportunity. Okay. First of all, always be careful with words like that and where was it up here? This. Make sure it's clear what that and this and he and she and it all of these, make sure you know what, where are we? Make sure you know, and make sure the reader knows what those are referring to, because that, to me, let me write the options of what that could mean. That could mean, it could be considered that by putting emphasis on other subjects rather than branch subjects often lowers the quality of specialized graduate. Moreover, when such graduates are attending a job interview or they may likely miss that opportunity. So that opportunity might be the interview itself. That opportunity might be I don't know. To get the job, it might be the major subjects. I don't know. It might be any of those, or it may be something else. And also add because, right? Because, or due to the fact that, or some other connector, or some other reason, right? You want to add your reason. Why do you think this is true? Because, for example, I disagree with you. I think it would be great. So the job for which they applied. Okay, then I wouldn't say miss that opportunity. They may not they may not get that job, right? They may not get that job because, or due to the fact that blah, 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 right? You want to convince me. If I disagree, you convince me why you are correct. Consequently, unemployment ratio among graduates could be increased in society. Is this a new paragraph with consequently? I'm not sure if this is a new paragraph or not. Is this a new paragraph with consequently? If it is a new paragraph, if it's not a new paragraph, perfect. Then this may be the reason, but don't start a new paragraph with consequently normally, right? Unless it's like a conclusion paragraph, which you have your conclusion here, which starts with a connector or a linker. Perfect. Consequently, unemployment ratio, again, unemployment ratios or unemployment ratio, or the unemployment ratio among graduates could be increased in a society. How? By blah, blah, blah. Furthermore, preparing again for interviews means to study back twice or thrice, which indeed is a waste of time. What do you mean preparing again for interviews? I think, does this mean preparing for interviews is a waste of time? I'm not sure. This is the old paragraph. Okay, good. Then it's not a new paragraph. Perfect. Perfect. So unlike in Mystic, consequently, the unemployment ratio among graduates could be increased in a society. Furthermore, preparing again for interviews means to study back twice or thrice, which is indeed a waste of time. I don't think that preparing for interviews several times is a waste of time. I think it's a skill that needs to be worked on. To sum up, good connector to start the conclusion. Very nice. To sum up, not only do study additional subjects can influence badly on grades, but also may be hard to grab job opportunity on time. Therefore, I hold the opinion that students, while pursuing higher education, higher education is extra information, so let's put those in between commas, should focus on their major courses rather than taking additional subjects. Okay, very nice. Mohammed, thank you. Your critique, what I say is, your critique for this and what I have to say about the critique is, your writing is good. You've obviously prepared for writing. You've obviously studied the books and studied essential vocabulary, writing expressions, band 7 expressions, and things like that. You've prepared. That's very good. That's excellent. That's excellent. Now, what I'd recommend now is to work on, now that you have those expressions, consequently. Firstly, this brings me to my next point. What else did you have? While I concede that blah, blah, blah. All of these, very nice. You have those expressions. Now, just tweak it and make it a little more, make it a little more personalized and make sure you write clearly. Clarity is probably your weakest area. So that's what I'd work on. Your strongest area, I'd say, are your expressions and phrases and your organization. Your organization is very good. Weaknesses are the clarity. Make sure you write a little more clearly. So that's all. That's what I'd say to you. I hope you found this valuable, and be sure you go back and watch this again if you need more help. I apologize for the poor quality. I am going to work on this week and try to figure this out and try to have better quality videos and training. I'm not going to try. I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure this out and figure out what's wrong with my OBS. If anybody has any OBS experience, OBS is the streaming software, and you can help me or help me get clearer Google Hangouts work, then please help me figure that out. If you need class notes, then feel free to visit sweetacademy.com and go to the class notes. And let's check this out. I have the class notes from today. I'm going to put the live lesson here, and you'll be able to see the notes that I had. Plus, I have an assignment. I'd like to hear from you, the white belt. I'd like to hear from you. What are your challenges in writing? That's what I'd like. I also have last week's lesson here and the week before, the lessons notes here. These are where I'm going to have the live lessons. Be sure you check out the podcast. The podcast is here. Listen to that. I have great expressions and vocabulary for you to learn from that. And also, if you need help, you need one-on-one help, you want to check out the courses or become a participating member and help, that's always appreciated. thank you for that. If you want to participate, then if you want to be a participating member, go there. You can participate and join for whatever you think this is worth. I have different deals for you to do. You can become a participating member, plus you get a discount on one-on-one lessons, and you get all of these courses. I have all of these courses, plus the printouts and PDFs of the podcast. So you'll be able to enjoy that for whatever you think it's worth and whatever you would like to participate and join with. But that is it for me. Again, I apologize for the poor quality. Zoom, good idea, Mohammed. I might try Zoom. I do have Zoom. Can you broadcast live with Zoom? I'll check it out. I do have Zoom. I'll look more into Zoom. Thank you for the suggestion. Anything else? Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Be sure to give it a like. Share it with someone who you think it could be useful for. And that is my time. I'm going to go celebrate 420. And thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. Remember, do something nice for somebody today before they can do it for you. Pay it forward. Remember, be good or be good at it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.